ever wondered why your phone's battery seems to last forever when it hits that 1% mark? It's a curious phenomenon, isn't it? Your phone's battery drains steadily throughout the day, but when it gets down to that final 1%, it feels like it's running on some kind of superpower. This intriguing occurrence has left many scratching their heads. Some even believe it to be a kind of technological miracle. Is it a glitch in the matrix? Or is there a logical explanation behind this? Well, in today's video, we're going to demystify this puzzling question. We're going to examine several potential reasons why the last 1% of your phone battery seems to stretch on for so long. From battery indicator inaccuracies to power-saving modes, usage patterns, background apps, and even sleep modes, we're going to cover it all. So, stay tuned as we dive into the possible reasons why your phone battery's last 1% seems to last an eternity. First off, let's discuss the possibility of your phone's battery indicator being inaccurate. It's a common misconception that the battery indicator on our devices gives an exact reading of the remaining power. In reality, it's more of an educated guess. The battery indicator on your phone is just an algorithm, a piece of software that calculates the remaining battery life based on your usage patterns, the tasks your phone is performing, and a host of other factors. It's not a live measure of the actual charge left in your battery. This means that when your phone says it's at 1% battery life, it might not be completely accurate. It could be that the algorithm is underestimating the remaining charge due to a sudden change in usage patterns or a miscalculation. Consequently, your phone might be able to hang on for longer than you'd expect. To add to this, the accuracy of the battery indicator can also be affected by the age and condition of your battery. As batteries age, they lose their capacity to hold a charge, and this can throw off the battery indicator's calculations. A 2-year-old battery will not have the same capacity as a brand new one, yet the indicator might still calculate remaining charge as if it were new. Moreover, different phone models and operating systems may have slightly different algorithms for calculating remaining battery life. Some might be more conservative, leaving a buffer of power even when they say you're at 1%, while others might be more accurate. This could explain why your phone seems to last forever on 1%. To sum up, the battery indicator on your phone is not a perfect system. It's just doing its best to give you an estimate of your remaining battery life. So, it's possible that your phone's 1% battery life might actually be more than what's indicated. Next, consider the impact of your phone's power-saving mode. This is a feature that is often overlooked but plays a significant role in prolonging your battery life, particularly when it's running low. So let's delve a little deeper into what this power-saving mode actually does. It's quite a clever piece of technology. When your battery level drops to a certain point, usually around the 5% mark, power-saving mode is triggered. What it does is reduce the functionality of your phone to conserve energy. It's like your phone's very own survival instinct, if you will, doing everything it can to stay alive. Now, you may be wondering, what does this reduction in functionality look like? Well, it varies from phone to phone, but generally speaking, it might mean that your screen dims or that non-essential apps are closed down. It could even mean that your phone's processor slows down to conserve energy. It's all about minimizing the energy your phone uses so it can keep going for as long as possible. Interestingly, some phones allow you to customize the power-saving mode to suit your needs. You can choose which features are limited and at what battery level the mode kicks in. This way, you can ensure you're not left without important functions when you need them most, while still extending your battery life. However, it's important to note that while power-saving mode can help prolong your battery life, it's not a miracle worker. If your battery is old or damaged, or if you're using power-hungry apps, your phone's last % of battery may still drain quickly. And there you have it. That's how your phone's power-saving mode works to make the most of every bit of battery life. It's a feature that's designed to keep your device running for as long as possible when the battery is low. Therefore, power-saving mode could be making your phone's last 1% of battery life last longer than expected. Your own usage patterns can also play a role. Now, let's talk about how exactly the way you use your phone impacts its battery life, especially when it's hanging in there at that last 1%. You see, not all activities are created equal when it comes to power consumption. If you're someone who loves to stream videos, play graphic-intensive games, or use apps that require a lot of processing power, then your phone's battery is likely to deplete faster. These activities are like sprinting in the marathon of battery life. They demand a lot of energy in a short amount of time, which can quickly bring your battery level from that precarious 1% to a complete zero. On the other hand, if you're using your phone for less intensive activities, that final 1% might seem to last a lot longer. Maybe you're just reading a text, checking the time, or scrolling through your photo gallery. These tasks are more like a leisurely stroll in the park for your battery. They require relatively less power, which means your phone can keep running longer, even if it's just on fumes. And then there are the in-betweens. Perhaps you're simply browsing the web, checking emails, or using social media. These activities fall somewhere in the middle in terms of power consumption. They're not as draining as high-intensity tasks, but they do require more energy than low-intensity ones. So, your battery may last a bit longer with these tasks compared to heavy usage, but not as long as when you're just reading a text or checking the time. In essence, the way you use your phone can significantly influence how long that last 1% of battery life lasts. It's a delicate balance between what you need to do and how much battery you have left to do it. So, how you use your phone when it's at 1% can greatly affect how long it lasts. Lastly, let's not forget about background apps and sleep mode. These two factors can play a significant role in how your phone consumes its battery, especially when it's down to the last 1%. Starting with the background apps, those apps you've opened once, and even though you've navigated away from them, they're still running, quietly sipping away at your battery. These could be anything from your email app constantly checking for new messages, to your social media apps updating feeds, or even your location services running in the background. They all continue to consume power, and while you might not notice it when your battery is at a healthy level, when you're down to that last 1%, every bit of power counts. Now, you might be thinking, but I closed all my apps. I'm sure of it. Well, even if you've swiped them away from your recent apps list, many of them still continue to run in the background. These apps can account for a significant amount of battery usage, especially over time. So what can you do about it? Well, there are a few steps you can take. Firstly, regularly check which apps are consuming the most power in your phone's settings and consider whether you really need them running all the time. Secondly, make sure your apps are updated. Developers often release updates that can improve battery efficiency. Now let's talk about sleep mode. Sleep mode, or standby mode as it's sometimes called, is when your phone goes into a low power state when not in use. It turns off your screen and limits what apps can do in the background. When your phone is in sleep mode, it uses significantly less power, helping that last 1% of battery last just a little bit longer. So background apps and sleep mode can also influence how long your phone's last 1% of battery life lasts. So why does your phone's last 1% of battery life last so long? Well, let's wrap up what we've discovered. Firstly, the battery indicator isn't always a truth teller. Your phone might be holding out on you, harboring more charge than that 1% suggests. Secondly, your phone's power-saving mode kicks in when your battery is running low, shutting down some functions to help your battery soldier on for a little longer. Then we have your usage patterns. If you're a heavy-duty user, your phone's battery will drain faster. And let's not forget the sneaky background apps that continue to drain battery even when you're not using them. Finally, remember that sleep mode can be your battery's best friend, helping to conserve energy when your phone isn't in use. While it may seem like a mystery, there are actually several factors that can make your phone's last 1% of battery life last longer than you'd expect.